This is Kyle and Joe with our Practical 3 tests for Don Ruba's Digital Circuits class. Here we have the print for our decade counter with LED display. Here you can see we have our 4-bit binary IC counter chip. We have our 4 outputs coming off to our BCD decoder chip. We have color-coded those for your convenience. We're using the decoder chip to run a 7-segment display. So we'll have a 0 to 9 output number from this display. We also have in here LEDs to show the binary 0 through 9 for our output from our binary chip.
So right here we have our digital representation of the circuit. Unfortunately, they did not have a 7493 IC chip. So inside that IC chip is just 4 JK flip-flops that flip between Q or Q naught with the J's or the K, and then obviously the clock's in there. These ones don't have a reset on standalone JK flip-flops. They usually have a reset, but for this digital representation, they do not have that reset. So we have power coming in. We either have a manual toggle switch or we have our clock, which are ORed. So you can have either a manual input or a clocked input. So it can either go automatically or manually. We have our outputs for this chip going A to D. On the left here, it does show actual binary numbers when we get our specific outputs. And then over here we have our set LEDs corresponding to those binary numbers for our output. And then over here we have our decoder. Thankfully they had a decoder chip. So we have this BCD decoder going to our 7-segment display with 470 ohm resistors going to each segment of our display. 5 volts going to that, and 1K ohm resistor going to that decimal point, so it's always on our circuit. So right here we have our breadboard circuit. At the very start, we do have our 4-bit binary counter, and this is all in one. So like you saw with that digital display, it is 4 JK flip-flops condensed into one IC chip. And the way I have this wired up is as a decade counter. It only counts 0 through 9 instead of 0 through 15. After that, we have our outputs with 1K resistors all going to a binary output of LEDs. And then from those LEDs for our output, we have our decoder. From the decoder, it goes to our 7-segment display, and that's where we get our final output for the circuit. So if we go and turn on one of these inputs, we'll have it on manual. So when we have it on manual mode, we can just go and flip through with this pulse switch up at the top here. We'll pulse it high and then low, and then it will count to the next number. So we go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 0. And then if we want to have it go automatically, we just switch the toggle switch, and then it's running automatically, going up to 9 and resetting back to 0. Thank you for watching our demonstration of this decade counter with the LED display. If you do have any questions, please leave them down below. We'll be sure to answer those questions as soon as we can. And as always, we'll see you in the next one.